Controlling is the last basic function of engineering management, but it is one of the most effective functions if applied properly. Controlling is all about comparing work accomplishments with target plans, and it is a management tool used by top management personnel to measure actual work accomplishments in an organization. In the field of management, the word control may mean any of the following: to check and verify, to regulate, to compare results with target plans or standard, to exercise authority over someone or a group, and to curb or restrain. Control also has three distinct definitions: curbing or restraining, directing and commanding, and lastly, checking and verifying.
Elements of control: a measurable and controllable characteristic or standard which are known to all concerned. A means by which can measure this characteristic or standard. A means of comparing actual result with the standard and evaluate the difference between the result and the standard. A means of making changes in the system so as to adjust to the standard.
So let us go now to the prerequisites of control system. So before any manager can put a system of controls, there's a need for plans and organizational structure. The control must be based on plan. The more concrete and the more integrated and the clearer the plans are, the more effective the controls can be. Also, the purpose of control is to measure activities and to take action to make sure that plans are being accomplished. It is also important to know the responsibilities of executives or units for deviating from the plans and taking corrective actions to bring back the work activities to their proper course. In order for the managers to control such work activities, he or she must operate through people. At times, it is difficult to know whether the responsibility for mismanagement can be traced to any person or unit unless the organizational structure is clear and definite. Just like the plans, the clearer, the more concrete, and the more integrated the structure is, the more effective the controls can be.
Establishment of standards. First step in the control process is to establish plans. But plans vary in detail and complexity. Managers cannot watch everything, therefore special standards are needed. Standards refer to the criteria of performance. They are the selected points of comparison and evaluation. Managers thus have signal to see how things are going without having to watch every step in the execution of plans. There are many kinds of standards. Some are quantitative, others are qualitative, and still others are a combination of both.
The measurement of performance against a standard should be on forward-looking basis. In this way, the deviation can be discovered in advance of their actual occurrence. Mistakes can be avoided and appropriate course of action can be taken. Therefore, it is important that managers should be alert and forward-looking to predict some possible deviations from standards.
Of deviations. Deviations can be corrected if the manager knows exactly where the corrective measures must be applied. This is only valid if the standards are drawn to reflect the organizational structure, withdrawing entire plans, modifying objectives, changing organizational functions, clarifying duties, and adding staff or firing old personnel are ways of correcting deviation.
There are different types of control. The most common are budgetary control, planning and programming, quality control, and feedback. Budgetary control: a budget is a plan presented in financial terms. The organizational activities are translated into expected results with pesos and centavos as common denominators. Stressed are the positive or planning aspect of budgetary control rather than structural or auditing. The procedures of budgetary control can be applied to many situations.
Of the basic elements of financial budgeting are: first is expressing in pesos and centavos the results of the plans anticipated in a future period. Thus, plans are set up the same way as the accounts in a company's accounting system. The budget shows how the account should look as the present plans are carried according to the schedule. Second, coordinate the estimates into a well-balanced programs. The estimates for the sale, production, personnel, and other divisions should be matched so that they are consistent with the required financial feasibility of the company. And lastly, comparing actual results with the program estimates indicated in step 2. Any difference between the two means that there is a need for corrective action. In many organizations, the budget becomes the primary tool for managing organizational activities. However, unless the budget is tightly tucked to the planning activity, then the former may not be very useful. Programming and Budgeting System. The Planning, Programming, and Budgeting System, or the PPBS, was used by the government agencies to better plan and measure the effectiveness of their budgets against defined goals and objectives. In 1970, the government turned into another management approach called the Management by Objectives, or the MBO. What became more important were the end results or accomplishments, but this required voluminous paperwork and consultations. In 1980, the government resorted to a zero-based budgeting, or the ZBB. Again, too much documentation was required.
Quality control. This method can result in significant savings in both direct and indirect ways. The effective control of quality of raw materials can prevent the processing of defective products. The process of quality control in organization varies. Some inspect every part during a manufacturing process. Others wait until the product is completed before an inspection. 2. Feedback. This one provides information for problem solving. A plan is implemented. The system is monitored or checked to ascertain whether or not the performance is on target and the objectives are met. Feedback is obtained with regards to objectives sought and the means or process of achieving them.
Management Information System, or MIS. The primary objective of this kind of system is to assist the manager in making timely and informed decisions. It does this by providing the proper kinds and qualities of information and statistics to such manager or department head in a format that is easy to understand and to use. MIS breaks this down according to the needs of the managers and reports this information that are simple and easy to refer to when solving problems. These are the MIS covers. Number 1. Financial Information System. This includes accounting, sports, financial statements, and budgetary figures. Number 2. Personnel Information System. Provides data on personal education, training, work experience, attitude, interests, and performance records. Number 3. Logistic Information System. Provides data on inventory control, production scheduling, shipping and delivery, and physical distribution systems. Controls should be made to fit plans and positions. All control techniques and systems should reflect the plans they are designed to monitor and follow. What a manager needs and should know is information that will tell him how the plans he is responsible for implementing are coming along.
Controls should reflect the organizational pattern. The more controls are designed to reflect the place in the organization where the responsibility lies, the more they will help correct deviations from the original plans. It should also fit individual managers and their personalities. Understanding the latter is important so that proper control system can be made to fit them. If the managers do not understand controls, then the latter is not useful. It is also important that they be understood so that they can be trusted and used. Managers must get involved by giving recommendations on what controls should be set up and how to set them up. In addition, many successful managers and administrators apply a lot of common sense and behavioral styles in trying to monitor, control, and evaluate their business operations and projects. They have the tendency to regard the paperwork and statistics that are not too practical despite the scientific approach recommended by the accountants, auditors, or system analysts.